So hi everyone, I'm today with you guys with Diane Bechard. So just maybe to start the interview, just maybe to present myself. So I'm Alexandre Fellner. I've been working in Odoo for 7 years and I'm managing the direct sales department of Odoo. So today, like I said, we're with Diane Bechard to talk a little bit about the ongoing implementation of the company where Diane is working. So hi Diane, how are you doing today?
Hello, everyone. I'm fine. Thank you.
Just maybe before diving into the subject of today, if you can maybe explain a little bit about yourself and a little bit about the company you're working for.
Yes, of course. I'm working with my company for more than 7 years now, and I'm what we call a strategic manager, which means that I'm working on those projects that are really at the edge of the strategy of the development of the company, and not working only with one service, but most of the time I'm working with many services that needs to learn to work together using the same process, the same tool, the same mind streaming to be able to really work as a corporation the same way in all the countries. Because as we manage, we are based in France, but we are in seven countries all around the world. So we need to adapt ourselves, but at the same time to have these same processes in sync to be able to be a corporation.
Cool. And the company, if you can just maybe go a little bit about who the company is and what do you do, what the company does every day.
So we are a software editor, and we do provide our solutions on SaaS. We are a little bit less than 100,000 euros revenue per year. We have more than 6,000 customers, and we are around 800 employees around the world.
So I suppose it's hard to find like one solution for the whole company and for everybody to use the same solution and to work the same way in all those different countries and different like entities around the world. Around the
Hey,
world.
you're right. That was really the scope of this project, to find a solution that is talking about quote to cash, meaning for our sales teams to be able to do a quote within different currencies, within different laws, with different ways of doing business in those countries, and at the same time going on accounting subjects that are really different between the countries, and also be able to invoice the way every country should invoice.
And talking about the fact that you were trying to find a solution for everybody to use and to industrialize, if I can use that term a little bit, the way you're working for today and for everybody to work the same way. How did you learn about Odoo? As a first questions.
Well, to be honest, it's one of our key users. She's living in north of France, and she saw a publicity
Okay,
going on the
nice.
street. She saw a publicity, and then we take a look on your website, and we were amazed about, first of all, you've got the functionality that was main for us, which is being able to manage the subscriptions.
Hmm.
Because as we are doing SaaS, we are doing subscription, and this kind of functionality was not easy to find within the tool from your competitors. So based on that, we said, why not? Let's talk to them, and we will see how it's going. Then there was also something else, because you're bilingual,
Hmm.
because as you can imagine, of course, English should be our work language, but for now it's not really always the case, because half of the employees are still in France, and to be really productive, it was better to be able to work in two languages.
Okay, nice. But it's nice to
At
hear that you could
least.
find like, so it's really the publicity that you saw like on the
Yes,
streets that made you that made you think about Odoo, which is but honestly like a good insight for us also. And
yes.
because being in one of the person or the interlocutor that we had during the sales process with you guys, like we know that we were in competition with Microsoft, Salesforce, Sage, and others, big names, other big names.
Mm.
What made you choose to go with Odoo?
Well, to be honest, within the first discussions, it was obvious that we had the same language.
Mm-hmm.
It was easy to understand each other. We were talking the same way. In a sense, we were living the same life, because as an editor, you live, or you have to resolve the same problem as we have. So it was really easy to understand each other, which was not always the case with the others. And then to be what we saw during the pre-sales demo is that the functionalities, the base functionalities were there. We had this objective to find at least 70-80% of the functionalities that we were looking for, and they were there. And there were even more, because when we saw all your applications, that gave us some ideas to even make in place some applications that we didn't have within
Mm-hmm.
our company, or to replace some tools that were different between the subsidiaries.
So it's not only for my smile that you took Odoo then. No. No, and what I find really interesting also is, and to go really deep, I mean, now to dive into the subject of the interviews that we are doing today is the implementation. So like we discussed, like we never saw each other like face to face. All the sales process was remote. All the implementation went remote due to the COVID situation. We never went on site for a gap analysis. We never or ROI analysis. And so my questions to you is, you know, uh, what is at the end, after this year of implementation, with Odoo, what is your view on our quick start methodology? Because just maybe to remind the audience, is that so the company is more than 500 users. So it's we implemented with a quick start methodology a company with a large scope, but also with a large number of employees. So why do you think like the implementation is going well today with your company?
Well, to be honest, this project is a really big project for us and for you. So at the start, and if I go back a bit in the past, we selected Odoo on September 20, which means before, as you said, the crisis, the COVID crisis. And at that time, to be able to select the right tool, we were too many people all around the world. So at this time, we selected that remove way of working together. And at the end, I think this was one of the key of all the work that we did during this year. Because you're right, you never did a gap analysis with us face to face, but that was impossible, because that gap analysis, we did it with all the subsidiaries, and we did it with interviews that we've launched with you, with all subsidiaries. We did everything in 1 month,
Mm-hmm.
asking for 4 hours questions for all subsidiaries. If you think about it, without the remove way of working, it was impossible in a month. It was impossible. Going over there, coming and go and coming.
Yeah,
It
like
was
with the planes
impossible.
and trying to find the
So
the spot for everybody to have the interviews.
And think about the cost of
Yeah.
this. So we did avoid everything regarding this, and that was a key within that project, because we've selected Odoo on September 2020, and we went live exactly a year after. with a pilot with only 2 subsidiaries. But in the meanwhile, we did all the gap analysis. We did create everything regarding the quote to order, meaning all the sales teams will do the sales quote, the proposition, and we will finish for now at the order. Then it's going to be a second phase that will come up for every subsidiary to implement the last part, quote to order, to be able to invoice all our invoicing to all our customer with the same tool, because actually it's not the case. So going with this, also accounting has to follow, because we want to do all reporting all together with the same tool.
And so we're talking about the way Odoo is phasing, or the methodology of phasing a project in Odoo. Now, and what do you think about that method, that vision of having like only 1 or 2 person to talk within a company of 800 people? Like you said, you have like you are in 6 countries, so could be like 10 different people to talk, just to be sure that we implement properly. Here we discussed with you most of the time on the implementation, on the fact on do we have to go right, do we have to go left, and try to find a solution together. Like, how do you see it fit in by such a big company that you are working with today?
Well, it was really clear at the beginning when we started working together. You are asking for this single point of contact, and well, it's a lot of responsibility for that point of contact. But it's the same way on your side, and that makes working this story, and it's working well this way, because what we did implement is this quick start method, and meaning quick start, okay, but as you see, the project is huge within our company. But with this method, we have to keep agility, and the only way to be agile is to be aware of where everything that is going on your side and on our side. And this way of having those 2 person who are ahead of everything, this is, I think, key also to be able to move on this kind of project.
And just for the information, and for my information also, because we never really talked about that before, it's because I suppose that the company, even yourself, have been working on implementing like different software, different solution with different methodology or different implementations, because we know that Odoo has a really specific methodology, Odoo methodology. That we believe in. What would you say like the big difference between the both, and what made like the implementation go? I mean, with the difficulties we agreed, but like what made the implementation go so well? Where like maybe with in comparison of other methodology that sometimes can take like 3 years, 5 years to implement, with like a different vision on the way to implement a project.
I think, and I'll go on two side of what makes or what is needed in this kind of project. First is confidence. And as I said, at first, when we started working together, because we were speaking the same language, it was easy to establish this confidence, to make us work together in confidence. And it means that we accept that we can make mistakes, that the other one will be there to help you. And this is crucial in this project, that we know that we don't know everything.
Okay.
We know it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
From the start, we know that we don't know everything, and that we will discover those things, of course, at last minute. And that we will have to launch ourselves to resolve that problem will be at that moment crucial. And we know it from the start of this project. And that was really that confidence that has been created between us to move on. And that was, I think, obvious for our direction, that we were going within that project knowing that we don't know everything, but with confidence. And that makes a little bit less pressure on us going to all the steps, the milestones of the project. Because what was also, and that's my second point, obvious, that there were those functional points to resolve, but the project was more risky on the change management, because we will change a lot of process, a lot of methods, a lot of tools, and that will make change a lot of collaborators, a lot of employees that are used to work in a way since years, and we will all create something new, better, I hope, but for sure new. And that was also obvious at the start of the project, that we had to take care of that, because some people, as we know, are more adaptable. They are moving more to change, other no. And that was also obvious, and not to say no, that will not happen for us. Yes, it did happen, and it will happen again. So we have to keep that in mind. And Odoo was really up to date, we really sensible, and had always a solution, an idea to help us to implement something that could help us to move on.
But that was going to be my next questions, like to jump a little bit on what you said, like the difficulties of that big of a project is not necessarily always the functionalities of the solution itself, but more the change management. My question will be like, how did we help you to to overcome, but first maybe those functionalities that sometimes we don't have in Odoo, because like you said, you choose Odoo for 80% and not 100%, because this is also the way we work, and the idea that we have in Odoo is to at least minimum like cover like 70 to 80%, and we do accept to have like 20% of possibility of development, but we do challenge also you guys on every development you want to do. But how did we help you to overcome those maybe development sometime by challenging you? And how did we help you to overcome that challenge, that biggest challenge that you had, like you said, which is the change management itself?
Well, to decide if we need to do a customs, a specific in your code is not an easy one, and it's a soft battle, I should say, between us, because we know that every time that we touch the code in Odoo, we may create tons of problems. Or it's not because you do one single thing that will not create a lot of other specifications that you will have to manage. But we are what we are. There are things that we can change, others that, or we don't. So we are still in some battles of that kind, but we are truly we are trying to do what we need, and only what we need, and not more, because we believe in the system that you are selling. So this is not an easy one, and I think it's not only in our project to decide to make a custom. It's a really important decision, and we should. And you are challenging us every time, and you are right. And I do the same thing with my company. I challenge them also, and that's the name of the game, I should say. Then on the change management, this is a really constant discussion, and again, when I have problems with some of the companies, some of the employee, when I have problems with one of the decisions that we took, one of the functionality that we are using, well, I explain it to the team, and I'm saying, I don't know how to make it this way. I don't know how to deal with that. So, and then ideas pop up, and at the end we have a solution. Now, does it resolve everything? Maybe not, but we can go further, and we can move on, and then if it's really again a problem, it always come back, and if it not, well, we resolve it.
So, like to resume, just because I see that the time is running out, also like to resume maybe a little bit what you're saying, just to be sure that I understood properly. It's more like it's really that collaboration, that we helping each other at every moment, that on every aspect of the project. Like on the functionalities, you give us your feedback. We give us ideas. We show you why. We explain you how, and then you take it. And then it's more like on every decision, on every problems that we could face. It's more about a brainstorming that make brainstorming between Odoo and the company that make us be able to find that solution, and then to foreseeing those change management or those development that could come or could not come depending on the decision that your company takes in a way.
Right.
Okay. So we could like go on and on, I think, like on that subject, but like I said, like I see that the time is running a little bit of time. So anyway, we have a session, where you could ask us questions, or you will be able to ask Diane, questions right after the interviews when it's done. I think it's about 30 minutes of questions. About like the implementation, how it goes, because I know that, like you said, you went live yesterday, huh? So which is a big step for you guys with the two branch, like you said. So I'm sure like some of the people who's watching us will have a question on how that go live went. And so if you have any question, don't hesitate. And thank you for the time you took, because like you said, the go live went yesterday. So I'm sure you had a lot of things to do today
It
on
went
the
well.
day.
If I'm here, it's because it went well,
Yeah,
right?
it's true. It's true. So thank you, Dan, for everything. And then we talk. Anyway, we talk to each other really right after, and then we see each other right after too. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Hello everyone. Hello Diane.
Hello everyone.
So as you can see, I'm not Alexandre. There is a slight difference between him and me. I hope you enjoyed this talk. If you have any questions, please write them in the chat. We will try to answer all the questions you might have today. So first question, Diane. You said that you have two companies live in Odoo right now. What is the plan for the coming weeks, coming month for the other companies?
Well, as you say, we are on live with two subsidiaries. The plan is to move on and to get all the other ones by the end of the month going live also the same way as the two first one did a few days ago. So it's going pretty well. We are starting creating quotes within Odoo, and basically after the training that we did with the employees, it's going okay.
Okay, great. And you said that you are implementing the quote to cash. So the fact that you create the sales orders, invoices, payments, and so on. Do you plan to implement something else after, when everything will be done on that part on each subsidiary?
Well, everything is open to do at the time. I mean, we put the focus on this scope, which is just major for us. As you mentioned, we have different subsidiaries. We used to manage them independently, one of the others. So the first scope is to make this happen for everyone, and then we will be really structured as a real group. I mean, with the way we are managing those back office processes. Then everything is open. I mean, we can speak about CRM, timesheets, all those information that are part of our back office system and that we need somehow to include with it that quote to cash process can be considered. Let's see how it's going for this part of the scope, and then we'll see.
Do you plan to implement the purchases?
Purchases, for sure we need it because we want to do all our P&L within Odoo. So on the accounting, it's for sure this part, and this is part of a quote to cash. There's no way we can manage this as a group if we don't have purchases.
Okay. Could you explain how is the relationship with the project team on Odoo side?
Well, as I mentioned, I think in the interview, the magic part of our team is that we have confidence in each other. I mean, we know that we have this kind of project, that we already know that we don't know everything, which is tricky, but it's true. And we have this confidence that telling us the truth together, saying, I know I don't know that, but we have to continue. We have to go a step forward, knowing that we will find something a little later on. So, I mean, we have this confidence, we trust each other, either on Odoo part or on my company part, and we are trying to move on like this because the project is important, is huge.
Okay. I know it's a big project. It involves many people in your company. I guess you have to face change management. Could you explain how you manage that?
This is a real subject, and I would say this is a little bit less part of Odoo, but Odoo is helping us on this. I mean, even if you have the right functionality, if you present it the good way, the right way, on time, if you put training, if you try to put everything okay, you still have to manage the person, the employee that will have to change his habits, to change the way it used to work, and maybe something that was really precious for him to have this knowledge. And that is really a big challenge. And I could say with all the people that we have and all people that do belong to different countries, different way of talking, we have different languages within the project. It is a real challenge. How do we manage it? Well, sometimes really well, sometimes really bad. It depends really. It depends on the subject. It depends on the team. But what we are trying to do again is to share those difficulties and try with Odoo to find the best way to maybe create a meeting, do a video re-explaining something, try to validate. There are many ways just to be sure that the person or the service that will have to put that process in place is okay with it.
Okay, thank you, Diane. It's already the end of this Q&A. Thanks a
welcome.
lot, and enjoy your Odoo experience, everyone. Bye-bye.